And I tell people this all the time, when you're putting something out and you're marketing the program, I always love 3 offers, and that's either a online course, a done with you service, or a done for you service.
Yep.
So if you can have those 3 things, you're gonna collect
Yes.
at with anybody. So the low hanging fruit, obviously, the online courses, that's super passive, should have that for sure. And then a consulting service for people that can't necessarily afford the done for you, and then premium for those that can.
Yep.
Hey, I'm Armando Leduc, producer, film actor, and owner of Leduc Entertainment. I have chosen a life off the beaten path and wanted to find others that are doing the same. Spaghetti on the Wall is a show based on all of the years that I've thrown spaghetti on the wall and nurtured what stuck. We will share fun stories, ideas, tips, tricks, and more. Welcome to Spaghetti on the Wall. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you are consuming this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Spaghetti on the Wall with another one with Jasmine Jonte. What's up?
Hey everybody, good to be here.
It's good to have you. I'm glad you're here. Very happy to have somebody that is an expert on course creation, because I am part of my strategy as a content creator and how I'm helping my clients is like, okay, we're going to create content for you, right? We're going to establish you as the authority. You're going to create content, put it out on social media, right? And you become that person. Awesome. That's great. And then you might hopefully tie it to your business in some capacity. If you have a service-based business, if you have a product, but I truly believe that having a course tied to what you do and how you help is just a no-brainer, right? Like, it's easy money. It can be easy money if it's done correctly, which is why you're here. So,
Yes.
So thanks for being here. Would love to get into the nitty-gritty of why you should be hiring somebody to do it for you. Because it's definitely going to save you time, energy, money, the whole 9. So talk to me about how you got into course creation.
Absolutely. I have a background in teaching. So I taught in the lowest performing school in the country in Detroit, Michigan.
Wow.
Yeah, I taught kindergarten and first grade. And that was the skill set that I brought with me into business. And it was very easy for me to take content, turn it into a curriculum that gets students results, now just adult students, right? To make things easy to learn, simple to apply, and have like just the right amount, like not too much, not too little, just the right amount to get people really, really amazing results. And so my completion rates were like 80, 85%. My retention, I had a membership at one point. My retention on that membership was like 90%, like just like these really, really wild, crazy numbers. And what I really struggled with is a lot of what you do, which was the marketing side of things. Like I really knew how to get people results, but building an audience, doing social media, like all of those things were just not in my wheelhouse because I come from a teaching background. And I made a shift after I bought a program about marketing. And I was like, great, this guy, he's going to come in and save me. And I'm going to know how to market and sell everything that I'm teaching online now. And I don't know, it was like a $7,500 program, maybe 10 grand, like in that range. It was not a cheap program.
Wow.
And I logged into the training portal and watched the first few videos, and they were just trash. Like, it was so clear he had no idea how to teach anyone anything. But he knew how to market because he was doing multiple 7 figures at this point, very publicly. And I just remember thinking, it's so wrong. It's just so wrong that there are people out there who really do have an expertise. He has results for himself, and yet they just don't know how to package that expertise into a product because they don't have the skill of teaching. They know how to write copy is a skill, sales is a skill, podcasting is a skill, all of these social media, these are all skills. And he just didn't have the teaching skill. And so I put it out there like, man, does anybody struggle with this? And sure enough, there were so many people who were like, I have no idea how to take what I teach in one-on-one and turn it into a product. And also, I have no time to do it. So that's really how I entered into this world, was just being a student inside of a really terrible product and thinking, I can do this so much better.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and that's really crazy numbers as far as like retention and
Yeah.
like finishing. Cause that's the problem with most online courses, that you buy it, you don't finish, right?
Right.
Like a book, right? But like
Right.
online courses should be a little bit more interactive because there's video, there's, those sorts of elements. So how are you keeping people engaged through that program?
Yeah, there's so many ways you can do it. I think the first thing is to realize what you want them to get out of the program. Like, what is success? What is the measure of success for your student? And then from there, thinking, okay, well, if this is my measure of success, like, let's come up with something in social media land. Let's say that we want to grow your audience we want to double your audience. Okay, something really simple. Okay, well, then if you think about 10 of the clients that you would have inside of a training program or one-on-one support, whatever it is, to help them double their audience, what are the topics that the teaching points they need to understand for 8 out of those 10 people in order to get the results? Because one big problem we see is people are just dumping their entire brain into their program, which isn't helpful, right? We want to give them, the way I called it, like the Goldilocks amount, like just the right amount, not too much, not too little. The Goldilocks amount to help 80% of your audience, 80% of your students get the result. And then like, what is the result? And then to build on that is to make it actionable because that's the other thing. People just dump their whole brain into a program, much like they would if they were riffing on a podcast, but they're not giving them step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this. So they know what done looks like, so that they know they're on their way to that success milestone that you've decided upon.
And you developed this through teaching or like trial and error, or how did you develop the system?
It's really like, it's mainly through teaching, just because that's what teachers do, right? Is we're given an objective, like a kid has to be able to add any number plus 2. And then you develop the exercises and the assignments and the way in which they're going to actually put that together in their brain. And so it's mostly based on like instructional design and like how people learn. And but there's also this element of we get to collaborate with these experts, and most of our experts have taught in some capacity, whether it's just one-on-one consulting, and they've done a lot of that, or keynote presentations, like they're a speaker, or executive, working with executive teams. Like they have an expertise in their content, and they have some experience actually engaging with that material and teaching it to other people. But now the question is, how do we teach them without you being able to see them on the other side of the screen? And that's really what we solve. Yeah.
Yeah. So when somebody comes in, kind of give me the customer journey for your clients.
So we start with what we call evaluate. It's like our first stage, and we look at what they have. So like, for instance, we have a lot of authors who come to us who want to build a course on back of their book. Makes sense. In that case, we would read the book, right? We have podcasters come, and they're teaching a topic that they've done a lot of episodes on. So we listen to those podcast episodes. So we get an understanding of their methodology and really how they say things and their voice and their brand. That's step 1. Then step 2, I call it architect, which is mapping out the course outline and then the unique methodology, so the framework. For instance, if you had 2 programs teaching how to double your audience on Instagram, one of the unique factors could be, well, person A has this 4-step method, and person B has this 5-step cycle, right? So there's different ways to show what your unique way is to get to that result, especially with more and more creators coming online. Like, isn't it nuts how many people are online? Like, it's just totally nutty how many people are online nowadays. It's really important to have a methodology, a framework that is yours and yours alone. So we do that during the architect phase and the course outline. And then we go into build phase 3, where we interview the expert and we pull all the content out of their brain, and then we developed the video scripts, slide decks, workbooks, case studies. It could be a million things, right? We build the things they need, and then last phase, after they we produce the videos, then we upload it into an online portal. So that's a very high level, but like it makes sense, right?
Sure. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So all you guys are working on right now is only course creation, getting it from point A to Z. That's
literally all we do. We're product people.
Got it. So when somebody's done with that, do you forward them to marketing people? Are they, how are you getting it out or how are you helping them, I guess, find the people to get it out for them?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Most of my clients, I call them like sold out service providers because they're in the one-on-one trenches and they are just serving clients day after day after day. And this is their way to get leverage. And so many of them just slip it right into their current lead flow. And now when a lead comes in, rather than saying, you can work with me one-on-one, they have another option to give them, right? So they can stop trading time for money. That's usually the simplest way that they just can get started right away. And then when we're talking about marketing it with a launch or an evergreen funnel or any other kind of way that you can market it, I have partners that I work with that I can refer out to. And some of them often come to me with an idea of who they're going to work with already, but they just literally don't have the time to build marketing assets, work with the marketing team, and develop a product and record. It's just like, that's the same thing that you guys solve is like, who has time to write social media posts?
It's so difficult. Yeah, no, it's a lot. It's a lot. We and I tell people this all the time, when you're putting something out and you're marketing the program, I always love 3 offers, and that's either a online course, a done with you service, or a done for you service.
Yep.
So if you can have those 3 things, you're gonna collect.
Yes.
With anybody. So the low hanging fruit, obviously the online courses, that's super passive, should have that for sure. And then a consulting service for people that can't necessarily afford the done for you, and then premium for those that can, so definitely. What do you say to people that have like so many ideas? Because I'm sure that the people that you work with are that personality type, like my personality type, right? That have like, I could do this and this and this and this and this. Like, which one do you choose? How do you give them focus? You're like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah. It's interesting because one thing I'll say is you just outline those 3 things, right? You've got like your course, your standalone evergreen course. You've got your done with you. You've got your done for you services. I really like to build products, and this helps narrow people's visionaries' ideas that are multi-purpose, meaning you can sell it DIY, but you can give it to you can give the exact same training program to your done with you clients and add on office hours, Loom reviews, something extra to help them get the most out of the training. You can also give it to your done for you clients to help them through the process faster. So one thing I think about is like, okay, we look at your offer suite. What's the product we could build that would help you leverage your time in all 3 revenue streams? Like now we're talking about dynamic growth, not just this one revenue stream that you can now put out there. See what I'm saying?
That's great. This is why I love doing podcasts, because you really, one thing can just change the whole game. So I hadn't really thought about, so I work with a lot of attorneys. So the done for you system is like, I can't even get them to like answer an email, let alone.
I work with attorneys too.
There you go. Yeah. Let alone take a course, but no, it makes sense because it's like, but what it really also does, I guess, is it reinforces that messaging, because we're on retainer based, right?
Yep.
And so a lot of times, our attorneys or people are going, so what are we doing here? You know what I mean? I'm like, we're brand building. We got to continue brand building. Like, we're going to do this every month. Like, it's just part of it. Like, you're going to create content. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a set it and forget it type deal. I mean, there's purpose behind it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it's not ads. You know what I mean? It's brand building, right? It's authority building. It's, it's the depth, not necessarily the width, And so that is the hardest thing for people to like kind of grasp, because they don't because you can't tie it to ROI like you can an ad.
Yeah.
And so having something like that to reinforce what it is that we're doing, I think would be great.
And for really busy folks like that, so my attorneys, my CFOs, my CPAs, my therapists, like they often have a right hand. And it's really good to give the training access to not only the head honcho, but also the assistant, because then they can like reinforce and they can also ask questions. And it means that when you get a question that you're like, this is so basic, it's in my training video, you don't have to, you can just be like, go check out lesson 3 in module 2. You'll find
Genius.
everything you need. It's a 10-minute video and it probably answers them more completely than just like, you know, your EA on your email trying to communicate with their EA on their email. Like once you get with these people who are higher level, like that's how it goes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's genius. So it's like, because it's already there and you're all like, hey, just take the module. So have you seen people take, for instance, I thought about the idea of taking, you know, this profitable production company concept, right?
Yeah.
Like my processes and procedures and things like that. Have you seen people take that concept and put it as a course?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like agencies who do courses are some of the best courses, I think, because they've seen such a wide array of businesses. And I think if we look at just marketing today and like this landscape that we're in, a lot of people that, or I should say, the people who take courses are getting savvier.
Mm-hmm.
So they really appreciate you being able to speak to their niche specifically. I don't want to see your testimonials about how it worked for everybody. I want to see your testimonial about how it worked for someone just like me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's like a big part of what the agencies can promise that a lot of other just solo individuals can't necessarily promise, because you have the team and the capacity to work with so many different types of people on the one problem that you solve. So it definitely works. I think usually the programs that work best for agencies have some kind of done with you office hour, you know, support component. Simply because if someone's coming to an agency, they're already expecting a higher price point level. Mm-hmm. Right? So they don't necessarily want to go from do it for me to let me just learn how to do it myself. It's too much of a leap. Totally. So they're like, okay, it's a really good downsell for agencies.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think what happens also when somebody takes a course is they get overwhelmed. They're like, there's no effing way I'm going to do this. It's just, but so it reinforces why the agencies charge what they charge, because it's like there's no, you know, do you know the heavy lift that it takes to like really do all of this stuff?
Yeah. And you can do ad hoc services with programs like that. Like, for example, we did a CFO program and we did some different tax strategies. So when the students go through that tax strategy training and they're going to implement it on their own business themselves, they just have questions come up. Or just like what you said, they're like, this is way too much. Like, I don't actually want to do this. And then you can either credit what they spent on the program to the Done For You service, or you give them some additional Done For You help that might not be the entire scope. So another example would be like Done With You or a Done For You bookkeeping course, but you can pay additional, like an add-on for a Loom review of your QuickBooks, just to make sure it's all set up correctly.
That's cool.
So for you guys and what you do with social media, it's like, well, they're going through, maybe they do, you know, like a brand pillars kind of assessment, and they're like, man, I just really want some extra eyes on this. They could pay an additional fee for a review that otherwise they wouldn't get if they didn't pay for.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Let me ask you this, because I had this idea, especially because I work with personal injury attorneys a lot, family law attorneys. You know, family law, like, in both instances, you have to kind of wait around for that to happen, right? Like, you can't go chase ambulances, although I think some of them have some sort of things that they do. Not my clients, but I know, you know, whatever. So, but you have to wait around, right? Like, not everybody's getting a divorce, you know. How could like a personal injury attorney or a family law attorney create a course that they could put ad spend to that like is valuable enough to, I guess, the masses that would justify creating something like that, and then they also, stay authority? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, I have a client who does that actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I have a client who has a series of programs all around divorce and custody cases, and it's helping usually the mom or the dad in this case who is going through the divorce and the custody case battle, and they want to win, right? And so he has a series of trainings where he teaches them from a law perspective, but also he's a former judge. So from a judge perspective, like what you need to have in place to give yourself the best chance to win. The thing I would caution folks like that, not necessarily, I'm not cautioning them against doing programs, but just a word of caution, I suppose, is that once you enter the course realm, meaning you're stepping outside of just professional services and now you're doing some of these online programs, your job description often changes. So you stop doing as many services, but that means you need to spend more time marketing. And for a lot of folks, they don't want to do that. Like they love working with people. They love that, they've got their systems and processes. They've been doing it forever. Like when they think about an online course, it's like, oh, maybe if I just put it on my website, it'll sell itself. But that's not really how it works. So you have to be okay with the idea of whatever your marketing funnel is, learning that, owning that, or hiring the people to outsource it and they own it. So there's totally options for family law attorneys, basically any kind of estate attorney, all kinds of attorneys. But it's just know that when you're doing that, it's not as easy as let me just record what I know and then put it online. There's more to the business and making it successful.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How long does it take to put? I'm such a broad question. Let me get it. Let me make it a little bit more specific. How long does it take to create we'll say a 10 module course, and the modules are each at about 5 to 7 minutes in length. You know what I mean? With the bells and whistles of the workbooks, the PDFs, all of that, and like the development, like the whole thing that you guys do.
Yeah.
From concept to completion.
With us to complete, I call that like a mini course, around 7 videos, 7 video trainings of 7 to 10 minutes a piece. So the runtime at the end is anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour, typically. With us is 6 weeks.
Okay.
More of like a signature program, which is like a 4 to 5 hour program that you can typically charge like $497 evergreen in a funnly. That takes about 3 to 4 months, depending on how we're producing it. Meaning, like, are you in studio to film it? Are you filming it at home? Are we virtually? Really, the production piece is the big question mark.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's about. But I mean, the crazy thing is, like, I have clients who come to me who are like, I have been sitting on this idea for 2 years.
Oh.
Because it's just so hard to do on your own when you're busy too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a heavy lift.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just you, I'm assuming. Yeah, you've got a whole team. How long have you been in business?
I left teaching 8 years ago, I think. I built my own programs for a while, and then I built my first program for other people in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was still kind of like doing both things. I was like, had my stuff and was doing it for other people. And I went all in on only this agency style in 2020, I think. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm definitely going to recommend you to more people. Jasmine, where can they find you?
Instagram is the best place to find me. I'm just Jasmine Jonte on Instagram. Our company website is creation.co. That's with an 8, so CRE8TION.co. And I do a little bit of LinkedIn. So if you want to hit me up on LinkedIn, you can do that. But Instagram's definitely the best spot.
Very cool. And is there a specific niche that you like to work with?
No, I mean, I'll say most of our clients, they are that sold out, burnt out service provider. They have an online service that they provide in some way, shape, or form. Our other clients, which I'd say we probably do like 25% of our work with these clients, are folks who already have programs and they want to up level them. So they want better retention, more referrals, more repurchases, etc. So, but again, that's only like 25% of our clients. Most of our clients are building a program for the first time, and they just want to get leverage. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. One of my favorite episodes so far. I really love the concept of like having a course, having something that you create once and you keep selling it. Like that's just, right. It just needs to happen. And everybody should have an online course, like for sure. So, thank you so much. Y'all reach out. Y'all got to get these courses, get it done so you guys can get that passive money. And we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
And that was Spaghetti on the Wall, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by LeDuc Entertainment for your digital marketing needs, social media, podcasting. We got you. And you can watch Spaghetti on the Wall anywhere. You're probably listening to it right now. And we'll see y'all next week.